Why did the Roman Empire fall? Do you wonder how such a strong, thriving empire like Rome, with its mighty armies, advanced technology and grand monuments, could just crumble into history? It's one of the most fascinating and debated mysteries of the ancient world, the Roman Empire. Once the beacon of power and innovation, spanned 3 continents and influenced countless civilizations. Yet by 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire had vanished, leaving historians and scholars scrambling for answers. Was it one fatal blow, or the gradual erosion of a once great civilization? Stick around and well unravel this epic story of decline, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and forces both internal and external. Act 1. The rise and glory of Rome. Before we dive into why Rome fell, let's appreciate what made it so extraordinary in the first place. The Roman Empire began as a humble city-state on the Italian peninsula around 753 BCE. Over centuries, it expanded through strategic military campaigns, political alliances, and sheer determination. By the 2nd century CE, Rome was at its peak. The Pax Romana, Roman peace, ensured stability across its vast territories, from the wind-swept shores of Britain to the deserts of Egypt. Rome's innovations were dazzling aqueducts that brought fresh water to cities, roads that connected far-flung provinces, and legal systems that provided the foundation for modern law. Its armies were nearly invincible, and its culture, from gladiator games to monumental architecture, inspired awe. But beneath the surface, cracks were already forming. Act 2. The warning signs of decline. Political instability. Imagine living in a world where your ruler changes every few years, often through assassination or civil war. That's what the Roman Empire faced in its later years, from 235 CE to 284 CE. Rome experienced the crisis of the 3rd century, during which more than 20 emperors rose and fell, many meeting violent ends. This chaos weakened central authority. Corruption ran rampant, as officials prioritized personal gain over the good of the empire. Without strong leadership, provinces became increasingly independent, undermining the unity that had once held Rome together. Economic decline. Rome's economy, once robust, began to falter. Heavy taxation drained the wealth of ordinary citizens, while the elite hoarded their riches. Inflation spiraled out of control as emperors devalued currency to fund their lavish lifestyles and endless wars. The reliance on slave labor, a hallmark of Roman society, stifled innovation and economic diversification. When conquests slowed, so did the influx of new slaves, further crippling the economy. Social erosion. As Rome's wealth gap widened, social cohesion disintegrated. The once proud Roman citizenry grew apathetic, less willing to serve in the military or participate in public life. The famous Roman virtues of discipline and duty gave way to decadence and excess. Bread and circuses, free food, and entertainment were used to pacify the masses. But they couldn't mask the deeper rot. Act 3. External pressures. Mount barbarian invasions. While Rome struggled with internal decay, external threats loomed. Large Germanic tribes, like the Visigoths and Vandals, once allies of Rome, turned against it. Why? Partly because Rome's weakening economy and military left its borders vulnerable. In 410 CE, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, sacked Rome, a shocking blow to the empire's prestige. The Vandals followed suit, pillaging the city in 455 CE, giving us the term vandalism. Meanwhile, the Huns, led by the fearsome Attila, ravaged Roman territories, spreading fear and destruction. Rome's inability to defend itself was a clear sign of its decline, military weakness. The Roman legions, once the envy of the world, were no longer invincible. Over time, Rome relied more on mercenaries, foreign soldiers who fought for pay rather than loyalty. These mercenaries often had little interest in Rome's survival, and sometimes even turned against it. The sheer size of the empire made defense nearly impossible. Resources were stretched thin, and strategic mistakes were costly. Act 4. The final. By the 5th century CE, the Western Roman Empire was a shadow of its former self. In 476 CE, a Germanic leader named Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. This event is traditionally marked as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But was it truly the end? Interestingly, the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive for nearly 1,000 more years, preserving much of Rome's cultural and intellectual legacy. So while the Western Empire fell, Rome's spirit lived on in the East. Act 5. Why did Rome fall? Now let's circle back to our opening question. How did such a strong, thriving empire fall? The answer is both simple and complex. Rome didn't fall because of one event or one failure. It fell because of a perfect storm of factors: political instability, economic decline, social erosion, military weakness, and external pressures. It wasn't a sudden collapse, but a gradual transformation. Consider the strain of managing such an enormous empire. Communication across vast territories was slow, and governing diverse cultures was an ongoing challenge. Rome's inability to adapt to these challenges ultimately spelled its doom. In fact, some historians argue that Rome didn't truly fall at all. It evolved. Many Roman ideas and traditions, from governance to architecture, became the foundation for medieval Europe and the modern Western world. Even today, the phrase "all roads lead to Rome" reminds us of its enduring influence. Act 6. Lessons from Rome's fall. Why does Rome's fall captivate us? Perhaps because it's a cautionary tale, a reminder that no empire, no matter how powerful, is immune to decline. Societies rise and fall based on their ability to adapt to changing circumstances, to balance power with justice, and to maintain the trust and participation of their people. Rome's story also forces us to reflect on our own world. Are we repeating some of the same mistakes? Do we face growing inequality, political dysfunction, and environmental challenges that could undermine our societies? As we ponder these questions, we should remember that history offers both warnings and inspiration. Rome's fall may have been inevitable, but its legacy shows us the resilience of human achievement. The aqueducts, roads, and laws of Rome continue to shape our lives today. So do you wonder how such a strong, thriving empire just fell all of a sudden? Now, you know it didn't. Rome's fall was a slow unravelling, a cascade of challenges that overwhelmed even its mighty strength. And while the empire may be gone, its legacy and its lessons remain very much alive.